This is Keith Ward with ActualTech Media, and thanks for joining us for this Spotlight Series video. Joining me today is Tyson Kunovsky. Tyson is the founder and CEO of AutoCloud. Tyson, welcome.
Keith, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let me ask a question the way an IT admin would. What is the core problem that AutoCloud addresses in today's environment?
So, by 2025, we are on track to hit $10 trillion in losses related to poor security and developer operations. And we decided to build AutoCloud in order to help folks at any kind of company to rapidly build and scale and manage cloud platforms with a new approach to security that's just much more secure than what exists today.
Okay. And a big part of what you do is driven by the concept of infrastructure as code. Now, infrastructure as code is something that a lot of people have heard. It kind of has a buzzwordy kind of feel sometimes. But I think it's important here for you to define it, at least as far as AutoCloud is concerned. So can you give us an idea of what you mean when you talk about infrastructure as code and how AutoCloud uses that?
Absolutely. It's a great question. To give you a little bit of history here, when we think of the cloud, around 2005, Amazon launched their first service, which was EC2, followed shortly by S3. And for many, many years, what you do is when you want to create new cloud infrastructure, you log into the Amazon console, you click buttons, and you launch your servers and your databases. And then with infrastructure as code, a little bit more of a modern approach, you essentially write a declaration in code that says, I want to create this server, this database, and this storage bucket. And what you can do then is you can run that code, and that code will repeatedly go and deploy these assets. So if you have a production environment, a staging environment, a development environment, you can write code and have there be a central source of truth for all of that. And there's a lot of other benefits around security, compliance, governance ahead of time. But essentially what we're doing with AutoCloud is we reach into your cloud accounts. We shine a spotlight on everything. We pull in the data, and we can actually reverse generate infrastructure as code for those different things that you have, your servers, your databases, et cetera, and then allow you to take those and create repeatable deployment patterns using infrastructure as code that have built-in secure controls for all of the different cloud operations aspects I mentioned, everything from cost controls to proper security controls ahead of time. And in this way, we can unify the ahead of time, what's called day one operation side of things when you're building, and the day two ongoing cloud operations, cloud security side of things.
And so basically what you're saying is this provides a new level of automation, which is really necessary when you're talking about multi-cloud environments.
Exactly. And our customers are coming to us and telling us that they can't find this kind of automation and security anywhere else. And they're using AutoCloud to create their institutional knowledge base for everything that they do from a cloud perspective, whether that be a single cloud like AWS or a multi-cloud solution, as over 95% of the Fortune 5 are. Right, you're able to take all of that knowledge, put it in a single place. Now, when folks leave, that knowledge doesn't leave with them.
So, if you're thinking about how to put this into an environment, you may want to know, well, is it on premises? Is it SaaS? Do you have other ways that you implement this? Do you give the freedom to the customer, or do you kind of force them into one way to go or another?
In 2023, we want to make sure that we have a lot of flexibility and options depending on folks' needs. For small companies, you probably don't want to deal with hosting AutoCloud yourself. So we have a SaaS solution that you're able to go and get up and running within 5 minutes, really quick time to value. For companies that maybe don't want to host AutoCloud themselves, but want to own their own data, we have a bring your own locker model where we just need any S3 compatible storage source, whether that's on Google or Wasabi or Amazon. You can actually store your own data. Everything that AutoCloud uses is pulled out at runtime and put into our SaaS. That way you can turn it off at any time. And then lastly, for folks that maybe you're a large bank or you're in a government sector or healthcare, right, those regulated industries, we have a fully self-hosted model. It's basically just a bunch of Kubernetes that you can deploy into your own cloud environment and then operate everything in your own security and operational model.
And this is really important because one size simply doesn't fit all, in this day and age. So when you're talking about multi-clouds, a lot of things that give admins hives and architects and others who even when you're even in the initial discussion phases, if you've got, let's say, three public clouds, because you want to use different features for each, you're thinking about, well, what about security? You're crossing all of these boundaries. What about visibility? I've got a whole bunch more connections and networks and all of this now. So it seems like that complexity ramps up so much in these sorts of situations. How does AutoCloud help with these particular issues?
I think, Keith, you hit it right on the head there. AWS has their own way of doing everything from networking to security to how they conceptualize their services. And guess what? Azure's different. They do storage differently. And guess what? GCP is different. All the other clouds are subtly different. So if you think about just the overall complexity of trying to manage all of these different cloud platforms, AutoCloud unifies and simplifies all this. Maybe you have Azure and Azure Defender and AWS Security Hub and config and your other cloud platforms and security tools. AutoCloud pulls in all of this data, simplifies it, unifies it, and you can apply your own standardized governance processes, security policies, compliance policies really, really easily, automate all of that, and make it dead simple to manage these complex multi-cloud environments and workloads. So we're trying to just overall make this process a whole lot simpler for everybody.
And less scary. That is for sure, because of just the mindset that you get into with cloud. All of a sudden, you feel like you're so much more open to the world, than you were before. Let's talk for a minute about the pricing for AutoCloud. How does that work? Obviously, you've got the smaller folks and the larger folks who are going to be looking at it.
Yeah, so we like to keep pricing simple. And with AutoCloud, you have unlimited users. No matter what, you will always have unlimited users because we think a seat model is a little bit outdated for software that might need to be used across an organization. And instead, we scale and grow with you. So we charge based on number of assets under management. An asset is defined as any user-created entity on the cloud. For example, an S3 bucket on AWS, a GKE cluster, Google Kubernetes Engine cluster on GCP, or maybe a Cosmo DB on Microsoft's Azure cloud. So depending on the number of assets that you have under management, we have different tiers in pricing. But it's important to note that all of our tiers, including our free tier, are available for as many users as you'd like, and we basically limit by the number of cloud environments and total assets. And that's how we conceptualize the pricing, and we'll just grow with you in that sense.
And again, simple. That's kind of a theme I'm hearing coming out through all of this. So for anyone who's watching this, Tyson, who wants to learn more about AutoCloud, what would you say is the next thing they should go do? What's the next step to learn more about you?
So I think in terms of next steps, please feel free to check out our website, which is just autocloud.io. And you'll be able to sign up for the platform. You can even do a free trial directly there. We give a 14-day free premium trial, no credit card required, where you can go quickly onboard your cloud accounts, get to value within 5 minutes, and really wrangle your cloud complexity and come up with and figure out your new paradigm for securely building and operating cloud workloads and platforms. In addition to that, feel free, if anybody's interested in a demo, to either book one directly from our site, or you can email me. I'm just tyson@autocloud.io. And I'm happy to hop on the phone with you for 15, 30 minutes and talk a little bit about what we do and how we can bring value from a DevSecOps perspective to your cloud initiatives for 2023.
Well, Tyson Kunovsky, it's been a pleasure having you on with us today.
Keith, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So if you would like more information on our Spotlight Series videos, where we do these kinds of interviews with emerging and established companies, check out our YouTube page for more, youtube.com/ActualTech Media. That wraps up this Spotlight Series video. Thanks for joining us.